Hello everyone, myself Rashmi Arora, Assistant Professor Pharmacology, welcomes you to the YouTube channel of Chameli Devi Institute of Pharmacy, Indore. Today we will discuss the diuretics pharmacology. This topic will be covered in two parts. Today we are going to study the first part. Let's begin. Diuretics are the drugs which causes a net loss of sodium and water in the urine. There are several categories of diuretics, and all these diuretics they act by increasing the excretion of water from the body. Basically, the application of diuretics is in the management of hypertension, and these are the most widely prescribed drugs in cardiovascular pharmacology. Availability of diuretics is also having the major impact on renal physiology. In this diagram, which has been taken from the book, we can see different sites of action of different category of drugs. First site is proximal convoluted tubule, site 1. Then we have the second site of sodium, potassium and sodium chloride co-transport, that is site 2, loop of Hanel, and site 3 is distal convoluted tubule. And here the drugs which act, they basically controls the sodium chloride channel. And site 4 is the collecting region, where most of the potassium sparing diuretics they act. There are three major classes under which we are going to study the diuretics. First one is high efficacy or high ceiling, or we also call them as loop diuretics. Second, having the medium efficacy agents, and third category is slow efficacy or weak diuretics. High efficacy diuretics are the agents which are basically inhibiting the sodium, potassium and chloride co-transport. The agents are divided into two major subdivisions: sulfamoyl derivatives and phenoxyacetic acid derivatives. The drugs are furosemide, bumetanide, toracamide and ethacrynic acid. Second category is medium efficacy diuretic, which acts by inhibiting the sodium and chloride symport, and these are also called thiazide diuretics. The members are hydrochlorothiazide, benzthiazide, hydroflumethiazide and clopamide. Also other members are chlorthalidone, metolazone, zipamide and indapamide. Under weak or adjuvant diuretics, there are several subdivisions like carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, acetazolamide, potassium sparing diuretics. Under this, two subdivisions also present. One acts on the aldosterone to block it. The agents are spironolactone and amlodipine, and another is the agent which inhibits the renal epithelial sodium ion channels. The drugs are trimetrine and amlodipine. Then we have osmotic diuretics, mannitol, isosorbide and glycerol. And the fourth one is xanthine, and the member is theophylline. Also, some antidiuretic hormone and their analogs are covered into the topic. One is vasopressin, then desmopressin, lipressin and terlipressin. All these are the analogs of ADH. So let us begin with the thiazide diuretics, which are mostly prescribed drugs. And as you can see that thiazide diuretics, they act basically on the sodium and chloride symport. Here we can see the site of action of thiazide diuretics. Now coming down to the actions of thiazide diuretics, they act early part of distal tubule and they inhibit the sodium chloride's importer and reabsorption of sodium and chloride as well. They increases the sodium chloride excretion and they have been categorized into medium efficacy diuretics. Sodium exchange with potassium in distal tubules and causes the loss of potassium ions, which results in hypokalemia like condition. So thiazide diuretics, there is one side effect that hypokalemia takes place. It is not effective in very low glomerular filtration rate of less than 30 ml per minute and may reduce the glomerular filtration rate further and thus aggravates the renal implications. Metalazone it has the additional action on proximal tubule and effective at low glomerular filtration rate, and they can be tried in the refractory edema like conditions. Some other actions apart from these are hypotensive. They have been implicated, they have been used in hypertension treatment, so they have the hypotensive action, that is why they are used as antihypertensive agents. They reduces the calcium ion excretion and may precipitate calcemia in patients with hyperparathyroidism, bone malignancy with metastasis, so care should be taken. They also increases the magnesium ion excretion and hypochloremic alkalosis occurs because of thiazide diuretics. Hyperuricemia, deposition of uric acid, and hyperglycemia. They inhibit the insulin release, although the mechanism of action has not yet been fully understood. So, but they increases the sugar level in the body. The preparations are like chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide, etc. These are the agents, and the major dose of chlorothiazide is used in 500 to 2000 mg orally, and duration of action is 6 to 12 hours. Benzthiazide 25 to 100 milligrams orally, and 12 to 18 hours of duration of action. Here we can see that chlorthalidone shares the maximum duration of action of 48 hours. So once daily dose is sufficient in 50 to 100 mg oral administration. Also indapamide, it also requires very less dosing because it has the duration of action on a higher side, around 3 days. The uses of thiazide diuretics are in hypertension, edema, which are related with cardiac, hepatic or renal impairment, and they are less efficacious than, however, the loop diuretics because other members are more efficacious in their activity, but they are useful in maintenance therapy. Hypercalciuria and renal calcium stones are most commonly get removed by thiazide diuretics because they causes the excretion of excess of calcium ions. Diabetes insipidus, basically they reduces the glomerular filtration rate and more complete reabsorption in proximal tubule occurs with the use of thiazide diuretics, and they are convenient, inexpensive than desmopressin in neurogenic diabetes insipidus. Also, amiloride is the drug of choice for lithium induced nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, but thiazides are used as a maintenance therapy. Adverse effects of thiazide diuretics include hypokalemia, as we have already discussed. They causes the depletion of calcium or potassium ions. So hypokalemia like condition occurs in the body. Decreased level of potassium ions have been observed. They may precipitate the renal failure because they decreases the glomerular filtration rate to less than 30 ml per minute. Hyperuricemia is another associated side effect of thiazide diuretics. Hyperglycemia, they increases the sugar level by blocking the insulin release or its action. Hyperlipidemia, they increases the fat content, deposition of lipoproteins inside the vessel walls. Hypomagnesemia, they decreases the magnesium ion concentration in the body and thus leads to hypomagnesemia. They are also responsible for hypochloremic alkalosis, hypersensitivity reaction, allergic conditions. They precipitate hypercalcemia and they are not safe in pregnancy. All the diuretics have been contraindicated in the use in pregnant women. So this is all about the part 1. We will discuss other category drugs in diuretics in the subsequent part. Till then, stay tuned with us. Thank you so much.